Okay, let's continue with our Unit 8, which is Develop Personal Work Priorities. Why do we need to learn this unit? Not just learn, upskill yourself with this work priority skills. I shouldn't bring it again every day, but the unit is more relevant to your day-to-day life, isn't it? Where you have to prioritize work, family life, and the assignment as well. Which one is a priority? Yeah, let's say you are preparing for a busy project, right? Or I should say it in a way that you were working on this Unit 5, for instance, right? And your manager calls in. Suddenly your priority changes, isn't it? All of a sudden, he said, hey, listen, can I ask you to work on this thing? He says, sure. Okay, you'll stop everything else and do that thing. Like that's what I did yesterday, isn't it? Yeah, I was in the middle of training. My manager was asking me something that was a bit crucial, and it wouldn't have taken so much of time. But if I had delayed it, there are like 10 other people waiting for that report, that file. It was some students grading. Yeah. So there was some file was missing. So I just chat with my manager, send him all the files before sending. I had to check it. That was 5 minutes job for me. Once I send it, my manager will sign it and forward it. And there were 8 other people in the email waiting for those files. Right? So it's my 5 minute times by 9-10 people who is higher up in the authority. So I had to momentarily, temporarily change my work priority. Yeah. So this is how you prioritize your day-to-day stuff. How do I prioritize? I will tell you that thing. Sorry. Okay. I'll share something with you. Okay. How many of you know the word Trello? Have any one of you used that? Please start using it. Trello. Trello. I'm happy to share the link. Please use that. It's an awesome tool. Another one which I do is AnyDo. I'm not using Trello at the moment because my job is kind of simple. Where is AnyDo? This one. Yeah, because I don't have so much of priority one over the other thing. I know what I'm doing on my day-to-day basis. I just have to write on a piece of paper or on AnyDo. I use AnyDo because it has a mobile app as well. So it kind of sync. So if I'm on a laptop, I write on a laptop. But before going to bed, I plan my day. So in the morning, I know what I'm doing. So I'll have my things on my mobile phone, AnyDo app. I got 2 tabs. One is a work, other is a personal, right? I input everything in a work, what I'm doing in the morning. So in the morning, when I'm starting I know my priorities and I can tick it off. Okay. What I will do with AnyDo, I'll bring up Samir because I don't want you guys to look at what my priorities are at the moment. But this is how it looks. Okay, it's there. You got some list. Okay, just look at some images. I'm going to share those images as well. Yes, this is how you do new task. It's today, later, done, delete. Once it's done, is a whole list that you can get it across. Yeah, and it kind of goes from there. You can assign the task. There's a lot of things that you can do with AnyDo. You can invite someone, but more fancy stuff is Trello. If you really have so much of priority, AnyDo is simple. As I said, my current job doesn't need too much of complicated work priorities. I know what I'm doing every day. But with my previous some of the jobs, it was very complicated. I was taking care of certain department. I used to work with a departmental store called David Jones, where I was merchandise allocator, like kind of data and fixing things, Okay, let me show you how it looks. It's very cool. That's right. I don't want you to go to the private one. Let's go to switch to Trello. Yes. And this is the one. This was the one I used to use when I was in David Jones Slack. I call it DJ, David Jones. Yeah. So here is a to-do list. You can create any fancy thing. You can have some pictures. This is my departmental number. Guess was a brand, all that thing. Temp meeting with Mr. Joseph I created when I was training this stuff. Then I got done. Reminder, future. You can create. You can make it very, very fancy, right? Done jewelry, watch, sunglasses, Wednesday workshop. You can add another list. Cert for leadership management 2, remind Wilson. Yeah, and with that list, I can add card. Tell him how to use Trello. Okay. Involve Norman. Okay. Follow up Julius. Tell him to be on time. Just kidding, yeah, Julius, don't worry. Right? And with that one, I can make it fancy if I like. What I can do, I can use any fonts, I can choose the cover, and there'll be some fancy cover. I can use what you choose, Julius. Is this one good? Rainfall. Rainfall is always my favorite. What? Okay, the rainfall, yes. Uploading done. And let's go for blue. Yeah, this is how it will look. Yeah, and not only that, I can set a due date. What happened? Didn't it come up? Attachment, where does the cover go? Okay, that's fine. That's not. I can ask members to join. I can have labels. I can have a checklist. I can set the dates as well. That will remind me by the date. Okay, I can pick up a date. Okay, 10:20. That's fine. Tomorrow 10:05. It will remind me. You soon. If I change the date, make it next month, the due soon will be gone. See, the due soon is gone because the software knows that tomorrow is very soon and somewhere in January is definitely not too soon. Okay, so that's how you have it. You can have multiple cards, and with card you can have multiple lists inside. Okay, so this is my favorite. I shared the link. Just play with it if you like it. Create an account. You can use your Google account with it. And so which will help you prioritizing your day-to-day, your work. Because if you don't prioritize your work thing, you're just doing as you please, and which is the most unorganized stuff. If you don't plan your day, you don't know what's happening in your day, you're not prepared for it, and all of a sudden your priority changes. Someone is waiting for you, but say, no, sorry, I'm busy right now. I told you that I'll do it, but I'm busy, kind of those stuff, which is not great, not professional. Yeah. Okay, so this unit we are going to learn about your work priority. Plan and complete your own work schedule. Purpose of this presentation, at the end of this session, you should know how to prepare work plan, incorporate objectives and priority, identify factors affecting the achievement of work objective, and any contingency plan. Do we know this word, contingency? Contingency.
Yes.
What does it mean?
Alternative.
Alternative, absolutely. Your plan B. Yeah, alternative
Plan.
plan. Yep. Let's say, sorry, Julius, I'm picking on you again. I mean, don't take it personally. Yes. Let's say Julius is running late for the class. There could be several reasons that he's stuck in the traffic. He had to drop kids at school, but kid wasn't feeling well, and then he had to make extra time and effort to prepare kids for the school. Or he smashed his car, and then he had to go and hire a taxi, leave it in a safe space, right? So no one can harm car anymore. Like there could be several reasons. But what is the alternative plan? Call a cab, right? Hey, can you pick me up? Call a friend, or go for some other options. Ride, walk, auto rickshaw, motorbike, whatever, right? But there's always some plan B. Okay, that's your contingency plan. With the work as well, you need some contingency plan. The more effective you are with contingency, the better your life will be. Use business technology to plan and complete schedule of tasks. That is like Trello, Anydo. There's many of them. Canva.com, Monday.com. There is many to-do list available. Okay. Prepare work group plans. So work group plan could be very fancy, could be very simple as well, depending on the complexity required. Oh my God, such an old phone. Very old phone. Something happens to this phone, you'll have to just throw it in a bin, can't repair. Won't have the charger even. Okay. It could include something like project title, project aim, some goals, objective, action, time frame, resources, could be HR resources, the physical resource, financial resources, and some performance indicators. Incorporate work objectives and priorities into personal schedules and responsibility. Track your time usage. Sometimes we spend so much time in unnecessary stuff, browsing for things that we don't need. Yeah, prioritize your time spending. Write a journal, write a diary of how much time you are spending on each of it. Eliminate time waster. Unnecessary use of social media is one of them. Yeah, sharpen the small, work smarter. And that's why plan your day, either on a piece of paper or using such technological tools. They are available for free, which will remind you almost every event that I am doing will have a calendar entry in my Google Calendar. If it was to pick up my kid, yes, it has a Google entry as well. Right? If I have a meeting, maybe my APTC calendar doesn't pop up. So I forward that invite to my Google Calendar, which is synced with my mobile phone, and that notifies me, hey, you are getting a meeting now. So I don't forget about anything. And I can plan my day in yours. Whenever I'm sitting or not doing any important stuff, I plan my day. Follow 80-20 rule. 80% in planning, 20% is the amount of time that you are giving. Find your best 2 hours. That's more than enough. Just work for 2 or 3 best hours, and the rest everything you can have up and down. That should be fine as well. Who knows what is Parkinson's law? Anyone? Don't need to Google that. I'll tell you. But if you know on top of your head, yes, please. Anyone? Anyone? I got something in chat. No? Okay, that's fine. I'll give an example, and law is very clear. If I tell you the deadline of this unit is 13th of November, most of you will try and complete by 13th of November. At least you will try, isn't it? Yeah. When will you try? Around 13 November. Not today. Yeah, not today. And the same applies to me as well. I mean, I'm not an exception somewhere from the other planet. Yeah. It's our human nature. We always have some priority, but all of a sudden it changes on 13th. Right? We might start today, but we'll never start today. Okay? What if I tell you 13th of December? When will you start? What if I tell you, don't worry about this, it's due next year? I said, oh, thank you. I can get my other stuff done. All of a sudden, in our mind, the priority changes. Isn't it normal? Yeah. The priority changes all of a sudden. We have the same workload, but if I tell you it's due tomorrow, you will skip the other queue and try to fit in and do it by tomorrow. If I tell you 13 November, yes, 13 December, yes, next year, oh, thank you very much. You are a genius person on the planet, right? So we are not worrying about this anymore. That's Parkinson's law. The work will fit the allowed time. So as a manager, it's very important, I'm telling you, listen very carefully. As a manager, it's very important for you to assign sufficient time, not too less, not too much. If you give too less a time, a report or some work is going to take 4 days. Allow them 4 or 5 days. Don't give them 2 days, because that's creating unnecessary pressure. No one will like it. It will hamper the quality of the work to be done. And all of a sudden, they will change everything else and just focus on that one thing, which is not great. Okay. If you give them 3 weeks to complete a 4 days task, they will still do it in 3 weeks time and still ask for extensions. Sorry, I couldn't do it. Would you give me 1 more day, right, to complete it? And he said, okay, that's fine. Go ahead and do it. It's going to take only 3 or 4 days. That's Parkinson's law. It's a trap. And that's why prioritizing your work is very important. You know that it's due in 4 days. You only need 1 day to complete it, but still someone gives you 4 days, right? Because they don't want you to sit down and do only that thing. Either you do 25% every day, or you finish everything else and be prepared on the 4th day to dedicate a whole day for that work. So that's where a leader manager comes in and gives that flexibility, at the same time making them aware that I want this to be done in 4 days only. Okay. Identify factors affecting work objective. Budgetary constraint, always standard. Even biggest countries like America, they also have budgetary constraint. It's not just a developing nation or underdeveloped nation, it's universal. I was listening to one very good talk. I follow someone called Sadhguru, and he once mentioned it very, very easily. Like, I know it's true, but I couldn't have understood or explained it in such a nice way, such an easy way. He said that poor people always talk about the rich should donate. They have more than enough. And how does a poor fellow know that rich has more than enough? No one has enough. And that's why they are working. For a poor fella, getting food, getting a small house to live in, or pay bills on time is a luxury. For a rich fella, having a Ferrari, a big mansion, have 3 international trips every time, living on an island, like a really good island, yeah, with all the facility, is a necessity. Everyone's need is different. They also have budgetary constraint. They said, oh, I wanted to buy a yacht, or I wanted to buy a Ferrari, but then I have to settle with Maserati. Like, they're really good luxury cars. Yeah, I wanted to buy a 10-bedroom house with a swimming pool, but I compromised with 5-bedroom house. Their pain is different. Just because our perception is different, it doesn't mean we can ask for help. Yeah, but that's budgetary constraint. Everyone has budgetary constraint. No one can have abundance of money. Take as much as you want. That's why planning is required. Competing work demand, could be one other thing. Environmental factors such as weather, resource and material availability, technological breakdown, and unforeseen incidents are some of the factors which will affect your work. Like I said, someone could be running late to the class. Someone couldn't come at all. It could be some personal health issue. I think Soraya had some issues. He couldn't come in today. Yeah. Like just imagine that was a workplace. She couldn't come and you're relying on Soraya will come and complete this part. If she doesn't come, the work will be distributed to all of you. Yeah. Contingency plan. Like Julia said, your backup plan. Right? What is your plan B? If you're drunk enough, can you drive home? No. What's your option? Call a friend, call a cab, ask your wife or husband to pick you up. Take a team approach to solve any problem, rate the seriousness and probability of that plan, develop a contingency plan, test the plan, train the staff, maintain the plan. You need to think of all the worst solution. That's why diversity is important. If you have a situation and everyone thinks alike, you can't come across the contingency ever. Use business technology to plan complete schedules of tasks. You can use emails, calendars, Outlook calendar, Google Calendar, Facebook, MySpace, personal digital assistant, blog or wikis, Skype or web conferences, Instant Manager, MSN. This is kind of outdated, MSN. I don't know if anyone will be still using MSN. I haven't used it for like 10 odd years now. Anyone using MSN still? Like Hotmail account? Did anyone have Hotmail account in past? Okay. Prior to era of Gmail, Hotmail was very popular. Yeah, Hotmail used to be very popular. I had a Hotmail account, which I don't know how now, but I had a Hotmail account. And since 2006, I started using Gmail, and then it became more popular. And Google is ruling the world, I can say. Prior to that, was MSN Messenger. Yeah, people used to chat from MSN Messenger. Right, so that was our section 1. Moving on, section 2, monitor your work performance. How do you rate your performance? It could be from the feedback. It could be your own track record. So what you will learn here is identify, analyze, perform performance, seek and evaluate feedback, identify, report on variation in the quality of service and performance. Define your work objective. That's the first thing. What does it involve? Your work target, what are you trying to achieve, work standard expected. Maybe you wanted to achieve a bit higher, but that doesn't allow you to compromise your work standard. You need to still go through all the compliance and whatever with legislation and following policy procedure requirement and following the Australian standard or Solomon standard in your case. Benchmarking. When one of your junior members submits the work, how do you rate their work? You have some benchmark in your mind, isn't it? Yeah, that, oh, you didn't write enough, or you didn't use professional enough words, or the consistency is not matching. Some fonts are Arial, some Times New Roman, some monotype cursiva, some small, some big. So you have a benchmark in your mind that, okay, when you submit me, font has to be consistent, is of this side, is a professional font within this much of time, with the least typos. Yeah, have a good benchmark, a realistic benchmark, and compare your performance with that, your or team members' performance. Seek and evaluate feedback on performance from colleagues. It could be via meetings or could be via feedback form, compliance, compliments or complaint. Someone should be able to come and tell you that awesome work or a nonsense work. You need to improve a lot. Either of them is useful. Reviewing your work, action based on a learning path. You complete your work and you check your work against the criteria. Could be from survey or performance appraisal that happens every 6 months, 1 year, where your performance is being evaluated again for how you're going or any improvement on those. Peer review and 360-degree feedback. Peer review is by the peers, all around you, team members, could be senior members, right? But the 360-degree feedback is done by a professional, where you are checking on each of the individual criteria. As I say, 360-degree, a circle makes a 360-degree. Yeah, when you rotate a circle, the center angle is 360-degree. That means is covering all the aspect of the feedback, covering every aspect of the feedback. I'll show you some link about 360-degree feedback for you guys to read. Okay, that's a good article. Just read that. It's a bit longer, so no need to do it literally now. You won't be able to finish it. Advice on receiving feedback. Never argue, just listen when someone is providing feedback. Don't explain, defend, or justify. If you wanted to improve, right? If you wanted to look at the feedback neutrally, yes. Don't give as good as you got. Check that you have understood everything. Thank the speaker for bringing it to your attention. Take it on board and think about it. Make any changes that you feel are needed. Any changes you think should be implemented the sooner as possible. Identify and report on variation in the quality of service and performance. Now, you might have a benchmark which you're comparing against, but maybe you haven't achieved, and that's why there is a variation. How do you just judge variation or in the quality or the service performance? Again, you match it with a benchmark. Bit of variation is fine. Let's say you are dealing with $50,000, right? Again, depends on what, but let's say a $50,000, $10, $20 plus or minus is fine. No one really bother so much about it, right? So that's a variation, but that's adjustable, allowable variation. But even with 50,000, can you allow 20,000 plus or minus? Won't it be too much? Yeah. So we all have that limit. We are well aware of that limit. That bit is fine. This is not. Yeah. So variation could occur in a single task, between two different tasks, or between two working environment as well. Yeah. Steps to establish monitoring procedure. Try to involve people whose performance will be measured. Try to incorporate management by expectation, where you'll be advised as soon as critical activity deviates from the expected. So anything crucial happens, then you are notified instantly. Make sure monitoring information can be collected and used relatively quickly and easily. If you get information, but that's way too complicated for you to use, Or you ask your peers some feedback and they give you 1 hour of video recording that here is my feedback. You won't be able to absorb it. It's too late to watch 1 hour video and make your notes. It has to be summarized dot points, so in the easy to understand points. Okay? And thank people for their effort always. Any question so far? Anyone? The next thing is coordinate professional development. What we learn here: assess personal knowledge and skill, research, plan and opportunities for improvement, use feedback to develop ways to improve competence, identify, access and complete professional development to facilitate continuous learning, store and maintain records of achievement and assessment. Okay, let's look at them in detail. Assess the personal knowledge and skill. How do you assess your knowledge? There are many tools available, tests available, or the certificate that you achieve by doing a course. You are in Cert for Leadership and Management. Once you complete this course, right, you know that, okay, you know so many leadership management skills. You have got so many skills which other people don't. Yeah, it's called personal development planning, PDPs. We sometimes call it professional development, personal development, PD, only PD. When we attend a seminar related to vet industry, we call it professional development. So PDPs are the physical records that you keep to help you determine and plan the goals, sorry. It could be short-term goal, medium-term goal, and long-term goal. Short-term goal within few days or few weeks, even 3 months could be classified as short-term. Medium-term 1 to 2 years, long-term 3+ years is long-term. The company will have a long-term vision, long-term goal. Many companies across the world have goal of becoming more sustainable by 2030, 2050, some of them. Yeah, it's a very long-term goal. Research and plan opportunity for improvement. So what are the opportunity for improvement? One is a training, other is coaching and mentoring, conference and workshop, online options, action learning, RCC or RPL, and personal study. These are some. Training is always helpful because training is structured in a way to meet the needs of the audience. So for example, if you guys needed some leadership skills to enhance, you would have already, but you wanted to make it bit better, then you enroll in the course, and course is very much structured to meet the need of the participants. Use feedback to develop ways to improve. It could be internal feedback from a colleague, or it could be external feedback via some recruiter or individual outside of work. Identify, access, and complete professional development to facilitate continuous learning. There are a few models, just treat them FYI. You don't have to really go too much in here. Okay. Store, maintain records of achievement and assessment. Not just this achievement assessment, like I showed you the other day, how I keep the file. I have all my folders of students. File naming is very important. File naming. Yeah. I'll just give you one example. Okay. If there are 15 students in my batch, there are 2 videos in one task. Like you'll have certain units where there's like 3 or 4 videos. If everyone keep on sending me videos without a proper name, I keep it in a download folder, right? Everything will be mixed out. But if you don't want that mix up, what I would expect is, so for example, I will say a file name is Michael BSB, was it XTW BEF402 AT2 or AT1, that's it. So I know it's a work of Michael, it's for this unit and it's for task 1, that's it. Whenever I receive such a file with this name, doesn't matter it's in a bunch of 100 files, I can still pick it up. Same thing goes for the physical record. Like your record should be in one box like this. You keep the file with name tag on each of them to help you organize yourself. Because when you need such information, if it is not there, what's the point of doing all this exercise? Yeah, not only you, anyone in your absence should be able to access those files. Yeah. And keep copies of any qualification that you have, any PDPPR, and any relevant document. Yes, again, any questions?